Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 21st of October, 2019, to talk about everything that went down on tonight's Monday Night Raw. And looking at tonight's Monday Night Raw, I don't want to say it was a bad show, because there was a lot of things that I liked, actually. But it seemed like a hodgepodge. It seemed like one of those Vince threw it together late in the day kind of things. And sometimes that's good. Most of the time it's meh. And I'm not saying tonight's show is meh, because there were actually a lot of things I liked, like Drew McIntyre versus Ricochet. That was really good. I thought Andrade and Cara had a good match for 12 minutes. And then the Seth Rollins and Humberto Carrillo, that was good. Street Profits, like all the in-ring wrestling, other than, the Viking Raiders squash of Hawkins and Ryder, was good. I thought good matches tonight. Like, I mean, Aleister Black, that squash too was meh, but like the actual matches that took place tonight, they got time. I thought all good matches in the ring tonight. And before we do Rundown Raw, let's see who's here joining us live to talk about Raw. We got Jeff Guevara, Henry McKenna Cavallo, Woken King Slender, Jeffrey New, Luke Might, Sinclair Saturday, Daniel Lopez, Gregory Benson, Trayvon Oomack, I hope I said this right, John Elite 45, Alicia Lemire, and so many more of you. So, Raw kicked off tonight with the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And you could tell Rick just got bullet points, because Rick went out there and was, classic Ric Flair. Classic Ric Flair. He comes down and immediately starts talking crap on the Cleveland Browns. Flair said, "Where's Baker Mayfield? Why didn't you bring him here to learn something? What about Odell Beckham?" He wished they were there because he wanted to give them the rub. Just like he wanted to give them the rub since LeBron's gone. He needs to make another star. He said, "The only champion here is the Nature Boy." He said he wasn't impressed with Hulk Hogan on SmackDown last week and making his final picks. But he did say that all these guys are good. That they wouldn't all be professional wrestlers if they weren't great athletes. So he put over Team Hogan and then announced that the final member of Team Flair is somebody better than all the Browns. Somebody that's limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling dealing, a son of a gun. And I think it was Jerry Lawler that said, "What is it, himself?" But no, it was the returning Drew McIntyre. And what a better person to put on this heel team. Like, perfect. So McIntyre came out, light boos, but I think like the crowd thought, well, we should boo him because that's what we're supposed to do, but we almost don't want to. And so McIntyre came out and said that he's doing Rick a favor by being on Team Flair. And then he told Rick to pull up a seat, sit at ringside, while he shows them exactly what's going to happen at Crown Jewel when he beats up a Ricochet. So we did get Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre, but I want to address something that people keep asking in the chat. Where were the women tonight? No Becky Lynch, no Charlotte Flair. Where were they? Well, I know Charlotte was on the Australian tour with the SmackDown brand. I think Sydney, she took on Bayley. But as far as, Becky, I don't know if Becky went to that tour or not. Kabuki Warriors, I'm pretty sure were there as well. But then you got other women on the Raw brand. I mean, you've got Sarah Logan. You've got Natalya. You could have gone out there and did a 3-minute squash with Natty picking up a win over Sarah Logan just to get the women on the show. I mean, why not do something like that? It was very weird that the only women we saw on this show were Charlie Caruso and Zelina Vega. So we got Drew McIntyre versus Ricochet. Match went about 17, 18 minutes. Match began after commercial break. McIntyre worked over Ricochet for about 4 straight minutes until Ricochet began mounting a comeback. It looked like he was going to go for a suicide dive, but instead did a cool flip dive through the ropes. They then went to another break. After the commercial break, Ricochet was in a rest hold. McIntyre tossed him into the post during the break. McIntyre worked over Ricochet. Sarah Schreiber, I forgot about Sarah Schreiber. I wrote it down, but I forgot about it. Interviewed Flair at ringside. He ranted about Hogan and got confused about what city they were in this Friday for SmackDown. Ricochet then came back after catching McIntyre with a drop kick as McIntyre came off the top. Followed up with a springboard clothesline, standing shooting star press, but only got a 1 count. Ricochet followed it up with a disaster kick and a lion salt for another near count, or near fall. McIntyre caught Ricochet with the fist as he came off the top rope, hit him with the razor's edge into the buckle, followed up the sit-out powerbomb, but Ricochet kicked out. Ricochet hit a jawbreaker and a spinning wheel kick. Ricochet then hit a super kick, Death Valley driver, and a shooting star press for a very close near fall. McIntyre then avoided a 630 splash and a code breaker, then chucked Ricochet into the post. McIntyre followed up the Claymore kick and the pin for the victory. Very good match. It was a great match that started off kind of meh, on purpose, kind of, because, but built and became a good thing. After the match, though, McIntyre attacked Ricochet, gave him basically a Dirty Deeds double underhook DDT, and then slammed him face first onto the steel steps. So they played it up like Ricochet's hurt. I don't know if maybe Ricochet's going to have to be replaced in the match at Crown Jewel, or what's going on with that, though. So they showed Cardale Jones. They said he will be the quarterback in the XFL for the DC Defenders. So, hold on, there was something in the chat I wanted to just... Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard the NFL game was a blowout, so maybe because it was such a blowout, Raw's not going to die that bad in the ratings. Thank you, Oscar, for the super chat donation. So the OC, backstage, spoke with Charlie Caruso. Carl Anderson called the Street Profits rookies. He didn't think they should be given this kind of a platform. AJ wondered about them getting that smoke and informed them that that's not legal here in Cleveland. Luke Gallows said that Cleveland sucks. Styles said the Street Profits were going to get beat by Gallows and Anderson tonight. And here's the thing with this. I say it, but they had a quick video package for the incoming Raw wrestler Andrade. Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black. The Black, who was ready to pick a fight. So Aleister Black had a 1.5-minute, 2-minute match with Jason Reynolds. Reynolds actually got some offense in on Black, but Black used a series of strikes and the Black Mass for the quick pinfall. Again, match was less than 2 minutes. We then got AOP video segment. Basically the same stuff they've been saying. They're going to destroy everybody. No one wants to fight them. Then we got the King's Court. Special guest, Rusev. Rusev came out here in street clothes. And Lawler, who kept calling Lana Lana, wondered about Lana's claims that Rusev was sending too much money back to Bulgaria. Claims that not enough time was given to her. Crowd started doing the yes chant every time Lawler would say something. And finally, Rusev takes the mic and goes, "Hey, he's a Hall of Famer. Show him some respect." I liked that line. Rusev also said that this was all Bob Lashley's fault and that he wanted to crush him. However, he said, "I still wore my wedding ring because I have hope that Lana and I will continue and live happily ever after. Lana and Lashley, say that 5 times fast, Lana and Lashley. They showed up on the big screen from a restaurant. Lana said that she was happy to be here because she's asked Rusev so many times to take her to this restaurant. But he never would. But Lashley did. And then Lana even said that they loved each other. Lana asked Rusev for a response, and Rusev said, I'm going to go get them in person, give them my response in person. And Lana was like, wait, what? He goes, I know where they're at. I'm going to go get them. And he ran off. So then we got a 12-minute match. Andrade against Sin Cara. Before the match, Zelina Vega said that Andrade's music was a siren, a warning to everybody, and their careers are going to be in jeopardy. We then learned that Sin Cara meant without a face, and tonight he would also be leaving without a victory. So Sin Cara immediately hit a suicide dive early, followed by a high cross for a 2. Carrillo was then shown backstage watching this match. Vega grabs Sin Cara's leg from behind as the referee was not paying attention. Sin Cara used a Hurricane Rana, then hit a moonsault to the outside off the top rope. Usually that's a big spot to take us to commercial, and it did. Vic Joseph let us know after the break that Andrade was in control during the entire break. Sin Cara made a comeback, hitting a springboard crossbody and a springboard moonsault for a 2. Andrade sent him a face first into the turnbuckle. He then followed it up with a facebuster, only for a 2 count. So Andrade hit the 3 amigos. Jerry Lawler said that this is a what do you call it? A reference or something? I don't even know. It's an homage to Latino Heat. They battled on the top, which eventually led to Sin Cara hitting a powerbomb for a near fall. Andrade then tripped him off the top and hit a running double knee strike in the corner. Only got a 2 count, though. Sin Cara used the Hurricane Rana on the outside. That sent Andrade into the ring. Andrade distracted the referee as Zelina Vega gave a Hurricane Rana to Sin Cara. Andrade then gave Sin Cara the Hammerlock DDT in the middle of the ring for the pinfall. Didn't need to go as long as it did, but I thought overall these two guys worked really well together. Good match. Thought it could have been maybe 8 minutes instead of 12, maybe even cut it in half and only give them 6. But hey, it was good. I liked it. So backstage, Carrillo told Charlie Caruso that he had respect for Andrade. He knew that Andrade and Vega were a package deal, but hoped he could win a championship one day before Andrade did. He knew he had a lot to prove, but also knew that he could be a great champion one day. Though, maybe not one that played with a fire like Seth Rollins. Street Profits then talked about the OC and made jokes about AJ Styles' hair. Montez Ford was amped to be in the main event tonight of Monday Night Raw, making their Monday Night Raw debut. Ford then asked Angelo Dawkins who their partner may be, which is weird because earlier, AJ said this was basically a tag match, Gallows and Anderson for Street Profits, and then they're talking about how they need a partner because it's it's WWE. Don't think too much into it. He said, maybe it's Ric Flair. He said, fam, you know Ric Flair already at the after party. He said, what about Booker T? And Angelo Dawkins said, nah, I'm still waiting for Booker T to knight me the Black Knight. He said, well, what about Kurt Angle? He's like, no, it's none of them. Dawkins assured him that it was somebody who didn't like AJ Styles. So Sunil Singh went to 24/7 champion R-Truth, distracted him, actually pinned him because Samir rolled him up. Always get those two mixed up. So did Truth. So I don't know what's going on here, but I guess the Singh brothers or the Bollywood boys, whatever you want to call them, are on Raw. They ran off. Sunil is the new 24/7 champion, and Truth was basically like, wait, are there 2 of them? They got a basic 4-minute squash match. Viking Raiders against Hawkins and Ryder. Sheriff Schreiber interviewed Hawkins and Ryder in the gorilla position before their match. They said some say they're the underdogs in this match. It was an unannounced match. Nobody knew that this match was happening, so who called them underdogs? Themselves? Anyways, They said one day they won't be underdogs, and maybe one day they'll also get pyro. Not today. Hawkins, the Rider, briefly worked over Eric until Ivar tagged in and ran wild on both men. The Raiders gave Hawkins the Viking experience for the pinfall. Again, match went 3.5 to 4 minutes. Nothing really to go home about. So, we're back at the restaurant with Lana and Lashley. And somebody walks up, I guess maybe he's a manager, and says, I don't want to be rude and interrupt, but I'm going to have to ask you guys to leave. And Lana's like, why? He's like, I've gotten word that your husband may be on the way. I don't want anything to happen here. Your meal is on us. Don't worry about paying. And Lashley blows him off. So after the break.
Sorry, what device?
So after the break, we're back at the restaurant. And just in the nick of time as Rusev ran in. Attacked Lashley as a bunch of people started screaming.
I'm sorry. I couldn't understand that.
Give me 1 second, guys. All right, it should be off now. I didn't even say anything to trigger it. It always runs in. It always does that running. So Rusev runs in. Everyone starts screaming. Lana's going nuts. Rusev's throwing tables. And he beats down Bobby Lashley slightly. Cops come in, pull Rusev off of Lashley, and you hear Lana start yelling, take him to jail! Take him to jail! And so we go into the third hour with Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio came out and said that he's been training with Cain Velasquez for his big match against Brock Lesnar. He said, though they're busy training, he wanted to take some time to thank the fans here in Cleveland and the fans watching at home for their support after what happened with Lesnar and his son Dominic. Crowd cheered for Mysterio. He considered the fans his family and wanted to celebrate together when Cain Velasquez becomes the new WWE champion. Paul Heyman with an interrupt on the big screen. Maybe from the back, I'm not 100% sure, looked like it. Heyman didn't think Mysterio would be saying this if Lesnar was in the building here at Raw, but he knows that Brock Lesnar can't be at Raw because he has been drafted to SmackDown. Heyman, on the other hand, can be on either show because he's merely the advocate. Heyman knew that Mysterio wanted Velasquez to give Lesnar another scar on the side of his face. He said Lesnar is not going to allow that to happen. He's been staring at his face in the mirror every morning for 9 years, waiting for his time to get revenge. And now, Mysterio has served Velasquez up on a silver platter. Mysterio interrupted him and yelled in Spanish. I like that Mysterio actually interrupted Heyman and not just let Heyman kind of get the upper hand here with the talking. It was more like, Ray's not going to back down with the war of words. But then out would come Shelton Benjamin. Benjamin wondered about Mysterio not being able to defend himself or his family. And now Velasquez gets a title shot just because why? Somebody beat up on Rey Mysterio? He said, Brock beat you up, so now your friend's going to get a title shot. What happens if I beat you up? Can I have a title shot? He shoves Ray and goes, I'm getting a U.S. title shot. Shoved Ray again into the corner and said, nah, that's an Intercontinental title shot. Pushed Ray again. He said, you talk about how Cain Velasquez is your family. Shelton said, Brock, he's my family. Back at the University of Minnesota, I trained Brock Lesnar. We were on the same team. He said, other than Paul Heyman, nobody knows Brock Lesnar as well as I do. Benjamin went for a takedown. Well, actually, my bad. I skipped a paragraph here. So he's toying with Ray when all of a sudden he said, what now, Ray? Where's your buddy to help you? And out would come Cain Velasquez. So Cain came down and Benjamin tried to go for a takedown. Cain blocked it like it was nothing. No sold. Nailed him with some strikes after taking him down himself. Applied a headlock until Benjamin tapped out. Crowd seemed into Mysterio, even Benjamin, but it seemed like they weren't sure how to react to Velasquez. Either way, I thought the segment came off really well, one of the better things of the night. Jolly Caruso then interviewed Seth Rollins backstage. Booed from the crowd. He admitted that maybe the Fiend got inside his head. But he got inside the Fiend's head too. After all, he did find the Firefly Funhouse. He said some other stuff, and the crowd was chanting for CM Punk. Rollins got distracted and saw Carrillo in the distance. Rollins approached him. Again, did not give an actual reason why he burned down the Firefly Funhouse. Rollins said he heard what Carrillo said about him earlier. Rollins said being a champion was about doing what's right, so he burned down the Funhouse, even if it's not a popular thing to do. Rollins welcomed him to Raw, and then offered to have a match with him, and Carrillo smiled. There was then a clip of The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia on a huge float, a WWE float, with a massive Undertaker replica on the float, and what I think was a Roman Reigns on the front of the float holding the WWE Championship. Big old replica. So we got a 12-minute match here between Humberto Carrillo and Seth Rollins. Crowd for half this match, maybe if not more, was chanting, "We want Wyatt." They went a couple minutes until a break. After the break, Rollins was in control, and the crowd seemed relentless, still chanting, "We want Wyatt." Carrillo came back with a corkscrew dive, but Rollins dodged the missile dropkick and followed up with the Falcon Arrow for a 2. I also forgot to mention a funny line by Jerry Lawler. When Carrillo was coming out, Lawler goes, "I just got a text message. It's from my fiance. She says she likes Carrillo's dimples." I thought that was a funny line. So Rollins then connected with a springboard knee for a 2. Rollins blocked a Hurricane Rana by Carrillo and hit a buckle bomb and a super kick for a near fall. When he hit the super kick, Jerry Lawler then goes, "Hey, I think he super kicked them dimples right off of his face." So a good little callback. Carrillo caught Rollins in a schoolboy, but only got a 2. He then hit a kick and a DDT. Carrillo followed up with a great-looking moonsault, but only got a 2. Rollins blocked another moonsault attempt and hit a super kick and a curb stomp for the victory. After the match, Rollins then shook Carrillo's hand. Nice match here. I really enjoyed this match. Like I said, most of the in-ring action tonight was good. The crowd really didn't seem into this, though, as all they wanted to see was Bray. And when they knew they weren't getting Bray, they were just like, "We don't care," unfortunately. So R-Truth's backstage, tried to roll up Samir Singh, but the ref wouldn't count. He said, "Hey, why aren't you counting?" And Sunil Singh would walk up, and he goes, "Because that one's the champion." He goes, "Oh." They run off, and he goes, "There are 2 of them." So the Singh brothers, or the Bollywood boys, still 24/7 champions. Or champion. It's Sunil Singh is the champion. Woken King Slender says, "Did this match really get Humberto Carrillo over?" Yes and no. I thought Carrillo looked really good in this match against Seth Rollins, but the crowd not caring did it no favors. All they wanted was Bray, and when they didn't get Bray, they said, "Screw this match." So then we go to the main event. And it's the Street Profits against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson with AJ Styles at ringside. So the Street Profits come out first, and then the OC come out, and they say, making their way to the ring, accompanied by AJ Styles, so we know this is a straight-up tag match. And I don't know why. So Styles wondered where their quote-unquote partner that they claimed to have was. Was he invisible? Was it the Invisible Man? They then showed clips of what happened last week between the two teams. After the break, the match started, and the Street Profits were on their own. No third person. Styles still had his vest on and watched from the outside. Not sure what's going on with AJ. Remember, it's supposed to be a 6-man. AJ did not work this match. It became a tag match. And AJ's also not set for a match at Crown Jewel. He's listed technically as part of the tag team turmoil match, but I assume he's just there with Gallows and Anderson. So I don't know what's going on with AJ. Street Profits wore red and white gear. The OC were in total control without the help of AJ. They went to a break less than 4 minutes back from the first break when the match started. So after the break, the OC were still beating up the Street Profits. Ford eventually made the hot tag to Angelo Dawkins, who ran wild on both men. Dawkins and Gallows fought on the outside. Styles pushed Ford off the top. And so Styles pushed Ford off the top rope as he was going for something. This was weird. So Dawkins tags Ford. Ford climbs to the top rope, and Dawkins has Anderson on his shoulders. Gallows pulls Anderson off. Dawkins and Gallows go to the outside after Gallows gets clotheslined out. And this whole time, Ford's just sitting on the top rope. What do I do? What do I do? Anderson's trying to get his footing about him. He's playing up like, what just happened? And so AJ runs up and pushes Montez Ford off the top rope, straight into the arms of Carl Anderson, who gives him a great double A Arn Anderson spinebuster. Styles. This only got a 2 count, though. All 4 men then started fighting on the outside. No, not all 4 men. 3 of the men, because I think Anderson was still in the ring at this point. And AJ grabs, I think it was Montez Ford. He doesn't do anything other than lifts him up and puts him almost in a suplex position. And the referee sees it, and he tells AJ, "You're out of here." AJ jumps up on the apron and goes, "What do you mean I'm out of here? You can't kick me out of here." And then the music of Kevin Owens would hit. Owens would run down, give AJ a stunner on the ramp. Ford then took out Gallows with a flip dive. Dawkins gave Anderson a sit-out powerbomb. Ford then followed it up with a tremendous frog splash off the top to pin Gallows and Anderson, winning in their debut. Kevin Owens disappears, and the Street Profits celebrated through the crowd. It was just weird that this match was advertised for a week and all day today on WWE.com as a 6-man. And what happens? It's just a tag match. And Owens is seen for 30 seconds. Their quote-unquote helper or their backup. It was very weird the way it all went down. But like I said, Raw was a good show. I don't know. I liked all the matches, to be honest. Like the in-ring action tonight was solid. McIntyre Ricochet, great. Andrade and Cara, good. I mean, can't really say much about the Viking Raiders squashing Hawkins and Ryder. You can't really say much about Aleister Black's squash match. Then you had Rollins and Carrillo, great. Street Profits, Gallows and Anderson, almost great. It probably would have been a little more great if we weren't so confused. For what we got, I thought, yeah, I guess you could say great. I mean, all 4 guys in that main event worked well together. As, you know, Gallows and Anderson usually work well with most people, and the Street Profits are just damn impressive. But with that, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here live tonight to talk about Monday Night Raw. Thank you to everybody who did watch it here live or watch later right here on YouTube or listened on podcast services all around the world. We will be live tomorrow night, Nick and I, with the PWUnlimited podcast, talking everything that went down over the last week in professional wrestling. Again, thank you for joining me here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.